Fear. It's a feeling we all know too well. It can hold us back, keep us stuck, and prevent us from living the life we truly desire. But what if I told you that over 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor had already figured out the secret to overcoming fear? Marcus Aurelius, the legendary Stoic philosopher, left behind a treasure trove of wisdom that can help us conquer our fears and live with unshakable confidence. In this video, we'll dive deep into the teachings of Marcus Aurelius and uncover 8 powerful strategies for overcoming fear. Whether you're afraid of public speaking, failure, or the unknown, these timeless principles will give you the courage to face your fears head-on and emerge victorious. Get ready to take control of your life and say goodbye to fear once and for all. Thank you all for watching, and make sure you stay till the end in order to fully absorb this ancient wisdom. Number 1. Acknowledge that fear is within your control. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This powerful quote from Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, encapsulates a fundamental truth: that fear originates from within our own minds. It is not the external events themselves that cause us to feel afraid, but rather our internal response and interpretation of those events. When we face a challenging situation that triggers feelings of fear or anxiety, it's easy to feel helpless, as if the situation has complete control over us. However, Aurelius reminds us that we always retain the power over our own mind and thoughts. We can't always control what happens to us, but we absolutely can control how we frame it mentally and choose to react. Recognizing this crucial distinction is the first step to overcoming fear. Instead of being a passive victim of fear, we can acknowledge our role in the process. We can take responsibility for our mental state. This simple yet profound shift in mindset can be truly empowering. When we internalize the Stoic truth that we have sovereignty over our inner world, even if the outer world is in turmoil, we tap into an inner strength and resilience. So the next time you feel gripped by fear, pause and remember: this fear is coming from inside your mind, not the situation itself. You have the power to change your perspective, your thoughts, and your emotional response. Acknowledge that power, grab the reins of your mind, and you'll find the strength to overcome your fear and face challenges with greater confidence and courage. Number 2, face your fears head-on. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. At first glance, this might seem counterintuitive. How can the very thing blocking our path actually propel us forward? But there's a deeper truth here that Aurelius understood, that obstacles and challenges, including our fears, can be our greatest teachers and opportunities for growth. Far too often, when we're faced with something that scares us, our instinct is to turn away, to avoid, to procrastinate. We let our fears dictate our actions or inactions and limit what we believe we're capable of. But Aurelius challenges us to take a radically different approach, to turn towards our fears, to face them directly, even to embrace them. Why? Because it's in the very act of confronting our fears that we develop strength, resilience, and self-mastery. Every time we choose to face a fear, we expand our comfort zone just a little bit. We prove to ourselves that we are capable of more than we thought. We build the courage muscle that will serve us in all areas of life. Moreover, facing our fears head-on often reveals that they weren't as bad as we imagined. The monster in the closet is rarely as terrifying when we turn on the light. And even if the fear is justified, by facing it, we can take practical steps to mitigate the risk or prepare ourselves to handle it. But the Stoics took this a step further. They believed that challenges and obstacles could actually be turned into opportunities, that what stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the very thing that's blocking your path can become the path to your growth and success. Afraid of public speaking? Use that fear as motivation to join Toastmasters and hone your communication skills. Terrified of failure? Reframe failure as learning and use each setback as an opportunity to improve. Scared of rejection? Desensitize yourself through exposure and remember that rejection is often less about you and more about the other person's own issues. In every fear there is a hidden invitation to grow, to evolve, to become a stronger, wiser, more capable version of yourself. But you have to be willing to accept that invitation, to look your fears in the eye, take a deep breath, and step forward anyway. So embrace this powerful Stoic principle. The next time you feel afraid, don't run from the fear, run towards it. Use it as a compass pointing you towards your next area of growth. As Aurelius said, what stands in the way becomes the way. Your fears can be the very stepping stones that lead you to a life of courage, resilience, and unlimited potential. Remember, on the other side of fear lies freedom. So feel the fear and do it anyway. Number 3, focus on the present moment. So often our fears are rooted in worries about the future. We get caught up in what-if scenarios, imagining all the ways things could go wrong. We worry about potential failures, rejections, or disasters that may never even come to pass. And in doing so, we rob ourselves of peace in the present moment. But Aurelius offers a profound shift in perspective. He reminds us that the future is not yet here, and worrying about it does us no good. In fact, it only serves to drain our energy and distract us from dealing with the challenges that are right in front of us. Instead, the Stoics counsel us to focus on the present moment, the only moment we truly have control over. By grounding ourselves in the here and now, we can conserve our mental and emotional resources for taking effective action in the present. This doesn't mean ignoring the future altogether. Of course, it's wise to plan and prepare, but there's a difference between prudent planning and anxious rumination. We can acknowledge potential future challenges without letting them consume us. Moreover, Aurelius reminds us that we will meet the future, if we have to, with the same tools and resources that we have today. The inner strengths and capabilities that we're using to handle our current circumstances, our reason, resilience, problem-solving skills, and courage, these will still be with us in the future. By focusing on the present, we can actually build these inner resources. Every challenge we face today is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever the future may bring. So if you find your mind racing with fears about the future, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. What is the task or challenge immediately in front of you? What small step can you take right now to move forward or to take care of yourself? Remember, the future is not yet here, but by fully engaging with the present, you are preparing yourself to meet that future with strength, wisdom, and grace. As Aurelius said, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. Life will always present challenges and uncertainties, but by anchoring ourselves in the present and trusting in our ability to handle what arises, we can meet those challenges with calm confidence. Number 4, embrace challenges as opportunities. The true man is revealed in difficult times. So when trouble comes, think of yourself as a wrestler whom God, like a trainer, has paired with a tough young buck. For what purpose? To turn you into Olympic-class material. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and can be incredibly empowering when it comes to facing our fears. The Stoics believed that challenges and adversities are not merely obstacles to overcome, but opportunities for growth and self-discovery. They are the fire that forges our character, the resistance that strengthens our muscles, the tests that reveal our true potential. Think about it this way. Just as a wrestler becomes stronger and more skillful by grappling with tough opponents, we too can develop our inner strength and resilience by embracing the difficulties that life throws our way. Every fear we face, every challenge we overcome, is like a training session that prepares us for even greater trials ahead. But here's the key: it's all about our mindset. If we view obstacles and fears as unfair burdens or punishments, we'll likely become discouraged, resentful, or paralyzed. But if we can shift our perspective to see them as opportunities, as chances to learn, grow, and prove our mettle, then we tap into a wellspring of courage and determination. Aurelius uses the metaphor of a wrestler paired with a tough opponent by God or the universe. The purpose isn't to make life easy or comfortable, but to turn us into Olympic-class material, to help us develop the strength of character, the wisdom, and the unshakable spirit that can handle anything life brings. So the next time you're faced with a fear or a challenge that seems daunting, try to reframe it in your mind. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more resilient?" Remember, growth and comfort rarely coexist. If we want to reach our highest potential, we have to be willing to step into the arena, to face our fears head-on, and to use every obstacle as a stepping stone to greatness. This doesn't mean it will be easy. Overcoming fear and embracing challenges takes courage, patience, and perseverance. But as Aurelius reminds us, this is how champions are made. Every challenge we face is an opportunity to become a little bit braver, a little bit stronger, a little bit closer to the best version of ourselves. So embrace the wrestle. Welcome the tough opponents. See every fear as an invitation to grow. As Aurelius said, what we do now echoes in eternity. The strength and wisdom you develop in facing your fears today will resound through the rest of your life. In the words of another Stoic giant, Seneca, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. So let your fears be your weights, your challenges be your sparring partners, and let every victory, big or small, fuel your confidence and your resolve." Number 5. Practice self-discipline. In the face of fear, it's easy to get sidetracked, to procrastinate, to let our doubts and worries dictate our actions. We might find ourselves wasting time on trivial matters or pursuing goals that don't truly align with our values and passions. But Aurelius reminds us that we have a higher calling, to cultivate our character and to engage in work that is meaningful to us. Self-discipline is the bridge that gets us there. It's the inner strength that allows us to stay focused on what matters, even when the path is difficult or uncomfortable. It's the courage to say no to distractions, to push through resistance, and to keep showing up day after day in service of our highest aspirations. Think about the fears that are holding you back right now. Maybe it's the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of not being good enough. These fears can be paralyzing, keeping us stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and inaction. But with self-discipline, we can begin to break free from these fears. We can make the conscious choice to focus our energy on being a good person, on cultivating qualities like integrity, compassion, wisdom, and resilience. We can dedicate ourselves to mastering our craft, to pursuing the work that lights us up and allows us to make a difference in the world. This isn't always easy. It requires saying no to the things that don't serve us, even when they're tempting or comfortable. It means being willing to face discomfort, to push ourselves outside our comfort zones, to risk failure and rejection in the pursuit of what we love. But as Aurelius suggests, anything else is a waste of our precious energy and potential. We only have so much time and attention to give. Will we spend it on fears and distractions, or will we invest it in becoming the best version of ourselves and doing work that matters? Self-discipline is the key to channeling our energy towards what's truly important. It's the inner compass that keeps us on track, even when the winds of fear are blowing us off course. With self-discipline, we can develop the habits, routines, and mindsets that support our growth and our goals. This might mean setting clear boundaries, creating structure in our days, and learning to manage our thoughts and emotions. It might involve practicing courage in small ways, like speaking up in a meeting or trying something new. Over time, these small acts of discipline and courage add up, building our confidence and our capacity to handle bigger challenges. Remember, self-discipline is not about being perfect or never feeling afraid. It's about making the choice, moment by moment, to align our actions with our values and our vision. It's about being willing to do the hard work, to face the fears, and to trust in the journey. As Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." With self-discipline, you can harness the power of your mind to overcome your fears and create the life you desire. So focus on what matters. Cultivate your character, pursue your passions, let go of the rest. As you strengthen your self-discipline muscle, you'll find that your fears start to lose their grip and your potential starts to soar. Number 6, reflect on the impermanence of life. So often our fears arise from attachment to possessions, to relationships, to status, to life itself. We cling to the illusion of control, thinking that if we just hold on tightly enough, we can keep what we have, avoid loss, and guarantee our security. But as Aurelius reminds us, everything in life is ultimately on loan from fortune, or the vicissitudes of the universe, and fortune can reclaim her gifts at any moment, without warning or permission. This might sound a bit grim at first glance, but there's a deep wisdom and even a sense of liberation in embracing the impermanence of life. When we truly internalize that nothing is permanent, that change is the only constant. It can radically shift our perspective on fear. Think about it this way. If you knew for certain that you would lose everything you have at some point, would you spend your precious time and energy worrying about that loss? Or would you focus on cherishing and making the most of what you have while you have it? Embracing impermanence is not about becoming detached or apathetic. Rather, it's about developing a healthy relationship with change and uncertainty. It's about learning to live fully in the present moment, appreciating the gifts of life without clinging to them. In fact, reflecting on impermanence can actually heighten our gratitude and our mindfulness. When we recognize that every moment, every experience, every relationship is a fleeting gift, we're more likely to savor it, to be present with it, to express our love and appreciation in real time. Moreover, embracing impermanence can help us develop a greater sense of resilience and adaptability. When we're not so attached to things being a certain way, we're more able to roll with the punches, to find opportunity in change, to let go of what's no longer serving us and make space for new growth. This doesn't mean we won't feel fear or pain in the face of loss and change. We're human after all. But by regularly reflecting on impermanence, we can start to create a bit of space around our fears to see them in a broader context. We can remind ourselves that fear is often a response to anticipated future loss, but the future is not yet here, and worrying about it only robs us of the present. We can recognize that even in the face of loss, we have the capacity to heal, to adapt, to find new meaning and new joys. Ultimately, embracing impermanence is about learning to dance with the flow of life, rather than trying to resist it. It's about building our trust in our own resilience, in the regenerative power of the human spirit. As Aurelius said, loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. Every ending is also a new beginning. Every loss makes space for new growth. So the next time you find yourself gripped by fear, take a moment to reflect on impermanence. Remember that all things pass, that change is the nature of life. Focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, actions and responses. Let go of what you can't. Embrace the fleeting beauty of the present moment. Face your fears with the knowledge that you have the strength to handle whatever comes, and trust that even in the face of loss and change, there are always new beginnings, new opportunities for joy and meaning and growth. Number 7, develop a sense of perspective. In the face of fear, it's easy to get tunnel vision, to become so focused on the perceived threat that we lose sight of the bigger picture. Our minds can blow things out of proportion, making a manageable challenge seem like an insurmountable obstacle, but Aurelius reminds us that we have the potential to live a good life if we can learn to distinguish between what truly matters and what doesn't. Developing a sense of perspective is about zooming out, about looking at our fears in the context of our entire life journey. It's about asking ourselves, in the grand scheme of things, how significant is this fear? Will it matter in a year, in a decade, in the face of my deepest values and aspirations? Often, when we take this broader view, we start to see that many of our fears are rooted in things that don't ultimately make a significant difference to our quality of life. We might fear a temporary setback at work, a momentary embarrassment, or a fleeting discomfort. But when we consider these fears in light of our overall life purpose, our relationships, our personal growth, suddenly they start to shrink in size. This isn't to say that our fears are never justified or that we should ignore genuine risks and challenges, but by cultivating a sense of perspective, we can start to discern between the fears that demand our attention and action and those that are merely distractions from what truly matters. Stoic philosophers often use the practice of the view from above to gain perspective. They would imagine looking down at their problems and concerns from a great height, seeing them in the context of the vast expanse of the universe. From this cosmic viewpoint, many fears and preoccupations start to seem small and insignificant. We can apply this same principle in our own lives. When gripped by fear, we can pause and ask ourselves, will this matter in the big picture of my life? Is this aligned with my deepest values and goals? Am I getting caught up in something that ultimately makes no real difference to the kind of person I want to be and the life I want to live? By regularly zooming out and considering the bigger picture, we can start to develop a sense of perspective that allows us to face our fears with greater equanimity and wisdom. We can learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference, focusing our energy and attention on what truly matters, living with integrity, growing as individuals, contributing to the world, cherishing our loved ones. This perspective also allows us to cultivate a sense of gratitude and presence. When we're not so caught up in fears about the future or regrets about the past, we're more able to appreciate the beauty and blessings of the present moment. We can recognize that even in the face of challenges, life is a precious gift to be savored and used well. Ultimately, developing a sense of perspective is about aligning our thoughts and actions with our deepest values and truths. It's about learning to see beyond the temporary and the trivial, to keep our eyes on the bigger picture of a life well lived. As Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When we cultivate perspective, we harness the power of our mind to rise above our fears, to focus on what truly matters, and to live with courage and purpose. So the next time fear starts to cloud your vision, remember to zoom out. Ask yourself what really matters in the big picture. Focus on living in alignment with your values, and trust that by keeping perspective, you'll find the wisdom and strength to handle whatever comes. Number 8. Cultivate resilience through adversity. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from difficulties, to adapt and grow in the face of challenges. It's a quality that allows us to weather the storms of life with grace and grit, to find opportunity in obstacles, and to emerge stronger and wiser from our struggles. And according to Aurelius, resilience is not just a trait we're born with, it's a skill we can actively cultivate through our mindset and our response to adversity. The key lies in our perception. As Aurelius suggests, we have the power to choose how we interpret and respond to the events of our lives. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can absolutely control our perspective and our reactions. When faced with adversity or fear, it's easy to fall into a victim mentality, to feel harmed or helpless in the face of difficulty. But Aurelius challenges us to reframe these experiences, to see them not as threats, but as opportunities for growth, learning, and the development of inner strength. This isn't about denying or suppressing our fears and pain. It's about acknowledging them, but then consciously choosing to focus on what we can learn and how we can grow from the experience. It's about shifting our internal dialogue from "Why is this happening to me?" to "What can this teach me? How can I use this to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate?" Every challenge we face, every fear we overcome, is an opportunity to build our resilience muscle. Just like physical muscles grow stronger through resistance and strain, our mental and emotional muscles grow through the challenges we face and surmount. Think of resilience as a kind of psychological immunity. Each time we face a fear or a difficulty and come out the other side, we're building up our defenses, strengthening our ability to handle future challenges with greater ease and confidence. But this process requires active engagement. We have to be willing to lean into discomfort, to face our fears head-on, and to consciously reframe adversity as an opportunity. We have to train our minds to look for the lesson, the growth edge, the chance to prove our strength and adaptability. This isn't always easy. In the midst of struggle, it can be hard to see the silver lining, but with practice, we can start to develop a resilient mindset, almost like a reflex. We can learn to catch ourselves in moments of fear or adversity, to pause and ask, "How can I grow from this? What does this challenge have to teach me?" Over time, this shift in perspective can fundamentally change our relationship with fear and adversity. Instead of seeing them as enemies to avoid, we can start to view them as teachers, as training grounds for the development of our highest potential. As Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." The very obstacles we think are blocking our path can become the path to our growth and triumph. So, embrace adversity as an ally in your journey of self-mastery. Cultivate resilience by consciously choosing your perspective, by looking for the lesson and the opportunity in every challenge. Remember, you are far stronger and more adaptable than you realize. Every difficulty you face is proof of your capacity to overcome, to learn, to grow. As Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." So the next time you're faced with fear or adversity, remember, you have the power to choose your response. Choose to reframe the challenge as an opportunity. Choose to cultivate resilience. Choose to become stronger, wiser, and more unconquerable with every obstacle you overcome. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your resilience, your ability to thrive in the face of fear and adversity, lies within you. Cultivate it, trust it, and let it guide you to a life of boundless courage, growth, and possibility. As we come to the end of this exploration into the transformative power of Stoicism in overcoming fear, I hope these 8 lessons from Marcus Aurelius have sparked some valuable insights for you. Remember, facing your fears, embracing discomfort and living with courage are not easy, but they're essential for a life of growth and fulfillment. But the conversation doesn't have to end here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences on applying Stoic wisdom to conquer your own fears. What resonated with you most from this video? What strategies have you found effective in building resilience and bravery in the face of adversity? I invite you to share your reflections and engage with fellow viewers in the comments below. Let's create a space for honest, constructive dialogue about the challenges and triumphs of overcoming fear in our lives. As Stoics, we recognize the power of community and collective wisdom. By learning from and supporting each other, we can all become more skillful in harnessing the timeless principles of Stoicism to live with greater courage and equanimity. So don't be shy. Jump into the discussion and let's continue this important exploration together. Your unique perspective and experiences are valuable and could be just the insight someone else needs to hear. Thank you all for watching, and if you found this video helpful, feel free to hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you again for watching, and may you all find the strength and wisdom to overcome your fears and live a life of profound purpose and unshakable confidence. Thank you again all for watching, and may you all find peace and serenity in the Stoic ways.